Hello, it's Walter at Champions Way. Today I'm going to basically show you how to add a secondary calendar to your web page. So for instance, if I go into my web page, and as always use Firefox for editing your website. I can't stress that enough because using anything but it will just cause a lot of frustration and whatnot. So Internet Explorer, Google Chrome are inefficient to basically to be able to work up to the task of editing your social site. So make sure you are using Firefox. And of course, if you are on Internet Explorer and you don't have basically Firefox, all you need to do is go to just do a search for Firefox browser, and this will basically take you into the download. So download Firefox, basically go ahead and click on it and download it. Now you can usually tell basically what browser you are using by basically just looking at the very top left of your window. You'll have basically the browser window would be right there, Windows Internet Explorer, and of course here it would basically tell us that it's Firefox. So you can know by looking at the top left what it is. Google Chrome, of course, same idea. But Firefox. Okay, enough said. Let's go ahead and, okay, so here's my website. So I'm on my home page. You can see that if I click on schedule, I do have a schedule already embedded in here. But you will notice as well that these are actual class schedule. So these are for my regular classes that I have basically, you know, on a daily basis, recurring over and over again across the months. What I want to do is I want to add another tab here. I think I'm going to add it right between book me on schedule. So I want it in front of schedule, which is going to be my event calendar. All right, so I want basically the public to go in there and be able to basically book themselves for an event that I might be having, that I might have coming up. So as you know, basically our online scheduler that we have basically allows you to have a week calendar in advance. So these events are only going to be shown a week prior to the actual event day. So for some people that might not be enough, just having it a week. If it isn't enough, then you will need to go with the Book Me feature, because this will allow students to be able to actually go into the special events. And then if I want to, you know, click on something for, let's say, the next month, I could go to it this way and click on it and get to all of your events coming up. But if I want to have a scheduler uploaded, I can basically do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in to my web page, and I'm going to add another tab called Event Calendar. So first thing I want to do is go into the top right where my login name is, and then drop it down and go to Settings. From Settings, I'm going to go to the left-hand side. There's three tabs: General, Social Site, Apps. In those tabs, we have actual little sub-tabs, and from there, I'm going to go to Pages. On Pages, here it shows you all your app suites, and your app suites, again, are basically all the dockets on the top right there: Hidden Pages, Money, Office, and Social Site. These are all app suites. And of course, within the app suites, we have Pages. So I'm going to go into my app suites, Pages, and now where do I want this? So I want this new page under my social site app, which is the main navigation for my public web page. So I'm going to open up my social site, and you can see here are all my pages. Now, I basically want to have a similar page to what I already have for schedule. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and clone a page, and I'm going to call it Event Calendar. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure public is checked. Therefore, the public will be able to view it. If it's unchecked, the public will not be able to view that page. So I've got everything in here. Now, all I got to do is, within the actual page itself, I'm going to change this to, and this is my title for the page, or what they call your H1 tag. Event Calendar. Google really looks at your H1 tags to basically to tell it what the title of that page is. So make sure these title tags are always descriptive of the page it's currently on. And make sure there's only one title tag on each page. You don't want to have multiples because Google does not like that either. So what I'm doing is I'm erasing the text on my page, but if you can notice, I'm not just going in there and highlighting everything and deleting it, because that will remove all my formatting from that page. So all I'm doing is removing the text a small bit at a time, and what I am going to do is I'm going to leave basically one word in there, because this is going to allow me to keep my p tags in place so I can add text into the page, because if I remove that in the back end, my p tags will disappear. I will not be able to get in here and actually start typing into the actual page. So be careful that you don't remove all your p tags. Always leave a word of text in there. So for this one, I would basically just in front of this, I would just put coming soon page under construction, for instance. That way we've got text in here, and we'll be able to add text again once we are ready to come back to this page. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now by default, as soon as you add a new page, it's going to add it to the top of the row for that app suite. So for instance, social site is my app suite, and I created a new page called event calendar, and as you can see, it is basically above home, which is my first page, or I want it to be my first page. So event calendar, I'm going to move, as I said, basically in front of the schedule page. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it and drag it out and drop it right after the book me. You can see a green line forms in between book me and schedule. That means that's where the event calendar is going. There we go. I dropped it in there. Now what I'm going to do is, if we go to our social site, you'll be able to see the new page now under event calendar. And there it is. If I click on it, you can see that everything I added is on the page here. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my settings, and I'm going to go to the tab apps on the left side, and I'm going to go to calendar. In calendar, I'm going to embed schedule. So from here, I'm going to embed my schedule. Now, select event. So as you remember from the previous exercise regarding embedding the schedule, we picked class, so all our classes would show up. Now we are going to choose event, so the special event calendar types will appear all on my schedule. So I'm going to choose that. Then, of course, I can change this to, I'm going to put register. All right, I'm going to basically, I want a wide layout. Now, the color theme, this is important because it's basically the way it's going to show up on your page. So based on the themes exercise, you'll basically know how to create an actual theme for your particular app that you want to place, or your calendar, or your embedded form, whichever it might be. All right, so I'm going to use my theme, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my code that it generates. So just highlight your code and copy that. Now, what I'm going to do now is I have to go into my page that I just created, and I'm going to embed this actual calendar within that particular page. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit the event calendar, and I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Now here, as you can see, basically I want my calendar to start right over top of this guy. So what I'm going to do is, we need to go into HTML here. Don't let it freak you out. We're just going into the coding part. Now this is the back end part of my web page. So what I want to do is, I want to embed my schedule basically over top of the coming soon under construction. As you can see, there is a p tag, and this is a p tag. So if you want to add text to a page, you have to have a starting p tag, which is basically a less than sign, a p in the center, and a greater than sign in between. And with that in place, you can put text. Then you got to make sure that you close that p tag. So I put another less than sign, a forward slash, a p again, and a greater than sign. This means my sentence or line is closed. So I have to basically create an opening P tag, which is just the less than, the letter P, and a greater than sign. That's your opening P tag. Your closing P tag is the same thing, but a forward slash in front of the P. So if you put those on an actual HTML page, you will then be allowed to put text over top, or in between, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the text in between the P tags, or my editable region, and I'm going to embed the schedule code that I grabbed. And as you can see, there's the schedule code. So now if I go ahead and save this, we're going to have my schedule embedded on the page. So, and there we go. And as you can see, it looks kind of funny because it's just a little sliver in there, and it's not much wider than anything. So when you do embed your schedule, this is basically what's gonna happen. This is the code that the system gives you. Of course, there's an actual piece missing, as I mentioned in the schedule exercise we had done earlier. So if we go back to the schedule page, what we're going to do, so this is what we want opened up. So we're missing a tag that tells the HTML page to make it larger in height. So I'm going to click edit so I can show you the tag that we're going to need to make this larger. So we're going to go back into HTML. Now, as you can see, the iframe for the schedule is the same thing that we just grabbed from when we made our schedule. That's the same iframe, but it's different because, of course, this one has the classes calendar types, where our new one has the special events calendar types. But what we are after is what's basically remaining in those two lines. So we've got the front off the iframe, which is the div style, width, and height, and then the closing of that tag, which is the div tag again. All right, so that's a closer, and this is the opener, and this is what we need. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And if you look at the exercise on how to embed your schedule onto your page, you'll see a bit more explanation on your opening div tags for the scheduler. All right, so basically with that, I have enough to go back into my calendar page and click on edit. And I'm going to scroll down and hit the edit button. Now, I'm going to look for my iframe once again, and as you can see, it is right here. So what I'm going to do is right in front of the iframe, and after that P tag, I'm going to basically paste what I grabbed. So make sure the div basically is right in front of your iframe, which your iframe basically is the code that we grab from the scheduler embed. All right, so that's your iframe. Make sure the div tag goes in front of that. Then what we have to do is we have to close this div that we just added by putting the less than / div and greater than. Now that closes the div tag. So the div tag is basically the less than div greater than sign. That's a div tag, and of course it always has to be closed with the same tag at the end, but it's got a / in front of the wording inside that. So you always have to have an open and a closer, no matter what it is, a P tag, a div tag, an H1 tag, H2 tags. That's just HTML coding, so we're not going to go into that too much. But we've added our widths and our heights, but now my height is 850 for the other schedule. And that's great because I had a lot of schedules for my events right now. I don't have that many events listed, so I'm going to make it a lot smaller in height because there's not really that much to see at the moment. So I'm just going to make it basically 350 heights. And the width, I don't need 900. I'm going to make it a little bit narrower, not so wide. So I'm going to just do it for 700 for this one. Then I'm going to go ahead and save it. And now, as you can see, I've got my event calendar embedded on the page. And as you can see, it's 350 pixels high by 700 pixels wide. So that is basically how you can embed a schedule with the classes and another schedule, but now with your actual event instead of. So we've got here one of them is an event calendar, which shows our special events from the planner, and then the schedule, which shows our classes from the planner. So basically you can embed each of the calendar types from the actual planner. They're just going to go into separate pages, or you could have basically one stacked on top of the other one. You can have one page, call it schedules, and you could have basically the event calendar stacked on top of the schedule, or vice versa, to keep them on one page rather than having two different pages. But that's entirely up to you, and I hope this helped out, and have fun editing your site.